Hey guys, welcome to Teen Nation. Today we're gonna do another weekly update and talk about some movie news. If you don't like it, then too bad. Here we go. Let's do this. All right, first topic.
The Paddington director is going to be doing the live action Pinocchio.
I would totally be okay with that. If y'all haven't seen Paddington, check it out right now. It's on Netflix, I think. But it's such a good movie. It's so well directed, and it's such a good commentary on immigration. And Paddington's supposed to represent like an immigrant who immigrates to the UK, and it's so well directed. Him, how he finds the family, and the cast is so good too. It has Sally Hawkins in it. She was recently in The Shape of Water. She always does a good job. So I'd so be okay with this. I'm actually really excited now that I think about it. But
apparently, there's going to be 14 deleted scenes in the Blu-ray of Star Wars: Last Jedi.
Okay, that's a bit excessive, but I mean, why? Like, there's no point. It's not gonna get me, again, I keep on saying this. I keep saying this in like every video. I'm not excited. There's nothing that's gonna get me excited about Star Wars. There's no amount of deleted scenes that are gonna get me excited about Star Wars. I'm sorry, Rian Johnson, whatever your name is. It really doesn't matter in my vocabulary. Because you didn't do anything worth my time and my attention. I'm not going to waste even more time on deleted scenes. So, good for you if you're going to get the Blu-ray. Good for you if you are excited. I'm really happy you found something out of that movie that I didn't. I personally have no interest in going into that movie again. I won't be watching it. I won't be buying it. Yeah. What's next? Because this obviously isn't a good topic, so.
Well, speaking of deleted scenes, did you see that Yondu is in a Thor Ragnarok deleted scene?
What? I didn't know that. That's so weird. What is he doing there? Like, is he drinking in the background?
I don't know. He was just featured because he was on set one day and Taika Waititi was like, fuck it.
I love Taika Waititi. Like, you know what? Do yourself a favor. If you have not seen Hunt for the Wilder People, do yourself a favor, find 2 hours of your day and sit down and watch it. It is such a good movie. I mean, Taika Waititi has a very specific charm to him and a very specific directing style that all his movies, sorry, I just burped. Anyway, all his movies are so campy and so witty. You know, when you watch Thor Ragnarok, the reason why it was so different than most of the Marvel movies was because it was just like this 2 hour long improv. And that's his style. He wants his actors and he wants his movies to come off as just comedic, and improvisation is very key to that. And so do yourself a favor, watch Hunt for the Wilder People. It's so good. Also, What We Do in the Shadows. There's actually a small joke in Thor Ragnarok where he talks about fighting off 3 vampires in a group, you know, wooden stakes, and it's like that's a direct commentary on What We Do in the Shadows, which is about these 3 vampires, well 4, but whatever. There's these vampires living in a house together, and it's supposed to be like this like documentary about them, and it's so funny. Watch that. He's so talented, and I'm so glad that he was able to give us with Thor Ragnarok. But yeah, I would totally be down for this. This is so funny. Like, I love it.
Also, Jessica Chastain is rumored to be in talks for It Chapter 2.
Okay, well, I mean, you know, it's all right. I like Jessica Chastain. I think that she is very socially aware. Like, she does a lot of things where it's like, oh, I want to make sure that I'm not offending anyone. But she's also very good at offending people. It's a weird juxtaposition there. It's like, I'd be okay with it. You know what? I think there's very few redhead roles anyway. Let's be honest. The only 2 people that were probably going to play, I don't remember her name, but the redheaded girl from It. Is it Beverly? I think it's Beverly. But, I mean, it was either Amy Adams or Jessica Chastain. Like, there's no other real, like, prominent redheads. And because It Chapter 1 did so good in the box office, and it's kind of like a prestige horror film, they're not going to hire someone who's not, like, a prestige actress. So I guess Amy Adams or Jessica Chastain would be like the only two contenders for this. And I mean, I'd be okay with Jessica Chastain. I feel like I've always said this. I feel like the reason why The Help was so good is because of the actresses involved in it. And I think that if Chastain was involved in this sequel with actors and actresses that were interesting and that were likable, it would be a good film. I think it would overshadow her unlikability that she has with some people. So I'd be okay with that.
Also, apparently, Moon Girl is getting her own animated show.
Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur. You know what? I'm not gonna lie, I actually wasn't excited for her character when she was first introduced to the comics, and now that I've read a lot more and I've become accustomed to her character, I think that it's so empowering for the young people that are reading the comic. I don't read it, but I think it's so good to see like young girls being able to like see themselves in a comic book and see that this young child is the smartest girl in the universe that they live in, and it's just a lot of fun. So I think animation, I always say this, animation, if you're not going to do a live action movie, I think animation is the best thing to do, because in animation there's not as many boundaries. I think that you can do anything in animation. So I think this is really cool. I've always felt like Disney has kind of suffered in the animation department compared to Warner Brothers, because if you watch Young Justice, Teen Titans, all the DC animated films, they're so good, and then you watch any of the Disney Marvel animated properties, it's just not good. It's not good at all, and I think that they really need to step up their game. So if this is what they feel like, this is how they feel they can step up their game, I'm so down for this. I don't like the Inhumans, but you know what? Fuck it. We'll see what happens. So.
And lastly, Joss Whedon leaves Batgirl.
Oh, it's like I hear like Gabriel's horn, like we're all going to heaven because like some magical shit just happened, y'all guys. Like I am so happy. Like, I mean, put aside the dumpster fire that Justice League was, like Joss Whedon, he had his moment. He had his like prime in the 90s with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But Joss Whedon has never really stepped up his game at that point. I think that it was kind of like the stars kind of aligned for Avengers 1. Like it was like something that had never been done before, and he did a killer job with it. But I think that Avengers 2 kind of burned him out, you know, and I wasn't excited for him to be a part of Justice League. Like I feel like him going to DC wasn't a good move for him. I think that these characters were not fit with his tone. You know, when he makes things very comedic. He makes things very like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you know, and I don't think that he's done a good job with superhero characters at all, live action. I think he's done a good job in the comic book medium. I think that if you ever read Astonishing X-Men, he did a really good job with the relationship between Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost. That is one of the best relationships I've ever seen that Kitty Pryde has ever had. I think I have to give him credit for that. Like the Me Too movement, a lot of these men are being called out for accusations against women, and it's not too far-fetched to say that he has made terrible decisions with his female characters in his movies, specifically the Black Widow and Age of Ultron. I think it was really, really detrimental to his career. You should never compare the two. You should never compare a woman not being able to have children, saying that she's a monster, and refer that to being the Hulk. I think that's such a terrible, that's such a terrible metaphor for a lot of women who can't have children. And you know what? That's not how you should treat your female characters. I think that a lot of the accusations coming out of him being sexually active with a lot of his co-stars and the actresses that he's been a part, that have been a part of series that he's directed and written, I think it's gross. And you know what? He doesn't deserve to be a part of a Batgirl film. I think that he would have just made it a lot of boob jokes and a lot of... He would have sexualized Barbara Gordon. I know they would have done Barbara Gordon. And I think he would have sexualized their characters so much so that it's just not okay. You know what? Wonder Woman's character. In Justice League, there are moments where she's kind of overly sexualized, where Flash flies into her cleavage. which is supposed to be like this comedic aspect to it. But I mean, there's moments like that throughout the whole film where she's essentially, because she's the only female character, he's okay with over sexualizing her and making comedic moments where men being overly attracted to her. And I think that's not okay. I think that we've already, post Wonder Woman, post Black Panther, we need to start making films that women, people of color, all people feel comfortable watching. And that starts with hiring people who know how to write good female characters, know how to direct female characters, know how to direct people of color. And I am extremely happy that he is not a part of Batgirl anymore. I love Barbara Gordon as a character. She's one of my favorite comic book characters of all, and I've been wanting to see her live action for a long time. I don't think I've ever seen her really on screen, so it's about time. I'm very excited to see him go and maybe see someone who is more equipped to be a part of this franchise to come in and take his place.
Who would you choose to direct the Batgirl movie?
I don't know. I feel like I love The Incredibles a lot, and Brad Bird, who directed it, would do an amazing job with Batgirl, especially how he's treated Mrs. Incredible, Elastigirl, and treated all the characters in The Incredibles movie. I think that he would bring such a good dynamic to the role, and I think I would like to see him do it. I think maybe he should step out of animation and go into the live action realm. He would do such a good job. That's who I want to see. I feel like now that we're getting Incredibles 2, that's going to focus more on like Elastigirl's character. I think this is the time where we need to see animated directors do more, you know? I think that's the reason why Deadpool 1 succeeded so much. You know, it had an animated director take over. I think animation is really stepping up its game, and film is kind of lacking. So Brad Bird is my choice. I would totally pick him in a heartbeat.
Well, that's all I got for you.
Whatever. You know what? Film is always going to surprise us, and we'll never have what we want. But I think we're living in a very interesting time. So let's just ride this train. Let's just ride this train out. You know what? I'm going to ride this train out. I'm going to drink my way out. I'm going to drink my way through this train. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I am really happy with how my channel's growing, and it might be smally. I'm really happy with how my channel's growing, and I'm really happy that people are still watching. You know what? I couldn't ask for more. You know, all I like to do is just sit here and talk about movies and stuff that interests me. So if you're into that, then thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment, subscribe, and yeah, I plan on doing more of this. I love it. So see y'all later. Whedon out.